public comments. We do not have anybody with us in person, anybody? Online?
Just one attendee with no hands, please.
Okay. For the attendee online, we obviously do have an opportunity to public comment virtually. So if you are interested in speaking, you can just raise your hand and definitely make sure you're unmuted. You get set up there. Okay, great, thank you. So we'll move right on to item D, minutes. Can I get a motion to approve the attached May 15, 2024 minutes?
So.
All right, discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. We'll move right on to D2 to approve, have a motion to approve the attached June 5th, 2024 minutes. Motion.
Second.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. Item E, correspondence received 5/14/2024, 6/1, or excuse me, 6/17/2024. Do not have anything included. But I would take an opportunity to remind those who do watch the video or join us virtually to use our correspondence form that is on the front page of our website. So please continue ask questions. I think maybe we might see a little bit more activity, I'm thinking, as we get closer to the opening of the building and changes that are going on the campus. So we do encourage people to use that as an opportunity to ask questions and get more clarification on anything else that they need regarding the project. We'll move right on to reports. So F1 peer report, I have nothing specific to report this evening, so we'll go right on to F2, town council liaison report. Yeah, that's Sarah. Unfortunately, she can't be with us tonight, so we'll move right to F3, Board of Education liaison report. Thank you for this one. Specific anything for that? All right. 1928 building committee liaison report.
Okay, thank you, Mike. The last meeting, the bid package for the site work was broken out of the overall package and sent out the bid, hopefully to see upon some synergies and efficiencies of scale to see if we get more attractive bids. If that doesn't work out, we'll reincorporate that bid package into the renovation bid package, hopefully get that out in July. The goal is to then have that posted bids due by the 20th, and hopefully approve the renovation bid package by August 27th. So we'll go on with everything's fine. And build a brick, go to build a brick and buy a brick. So.
Awesome. Any questions for Chris? All right, we'll go right on to architect report.
So TSKP started a punch list for area A this week. So we completed the third floor yesterday and we'll move on to the lower floors later this week, and then followed by area B next week. So then we also reviewed and released a few of the closeout submittals, that's the O&M manuals, test reports, certificates for the high school, and we also reviewing submittals for the central office.
Any questions on that? All right, we'll go right on to construction manager report.
Thank you, Mike. Later in the agenda, I'll talk about the getting an application. As far as the high school, we're working with TSKP on RFIs and closeout submittals, and a few of the RFIs are actually going in now at this point in time. But we have the central office as well, central office submitted for about 30% complete. Construction overall on the high schools, 86%, site work 70%, and commission about 36%. Classrooms A, B, and C final punch list has TSKP has reported that they started in A. Commissioning as far as testing and balancing, IES, James Brennan via IES, the commissioning agent, they have started commissioning of the VAVs last week, and the boilers and water heaters have started yesterday. And we're going through fire alarm testing, actually started that yesterday. Final cleaning substantially complete in A and B, and they're working into the C classroom wing. The cutover of the fiber, Matt Ross, that was successful last week, in the old building. Where those that attempt to drive, or you can't drive out to the main campus anymore, but there's a lot of activity as far as all the asphalt really. It's complete, pretty much wrapping up tomorrow. Main concourse, there's a lot of activity, wood ceilings and porcelain throughout, plantings, hydro seeding, all that site work is taking place. We do have to report on the supply chain issue. We have a delay in the generator fuel tank. It's a large tank, custom tank. There will not be a delay in the schedule. We have a temporary 1,500 kW generator showing up on Friday on the tractor trailer. That'll be hooked up, so we will have all emergency. It's practically the size of the permanent generator. Once the tank comes in, the generator is fabricated. It's a diesel Cummins. The housing is fabricated. It's just the tank that it sits on. But no impact and no cost impact to the project as well. Area of central office, we got activities through Arcadis, and we'll report on that. The auto lift was relocated. Abatement work started today in the 800 wing. That's the wing that we're pushing to get additional gravel parking lot for the school, for the start of the school year. The town police department and fire department, we had a meeting last week with all the departments. They're going to do some emergency training within the World High School, which is a great opportunity for us. It's starting tomorrow evening. It's going to be the next 4 evenings. So tomorrow, Friday, Monday, and Tuesday. Each department will have a link to, and it's going to be in 500 wing by the wooden auto shop, not in those areas, but in those classrooms. 2228 project already been reported on. Tennis court, the limited notice to proceed has been issued. Those submittals will start soon. Schedule wise, post tension once the building demolition is complete, mid-October, late October, the subgrade and the post tension will start. In drone shots, we're looking to get our drone footage done mid-July once the mass demolition starts on the old building. So there's a lot going on. It's exciting. And, we're on time. There's a lot going on.
There's one going on, and it's the final nurse. We want to hear. All right, we'll move right on to project management contingency report.
Thank you. Process 5 more PCOs. We added 6 added services for 6 different items. For the architect. Again, we're doing so involved with our contingency. We're holding steady around $4.7 million. I'll get more into the PCOs and the ad services later on. For both the central office and high school.
Anything on that contingency report you want to call out for us?
Just those 5 items, the added services that I'm doing now,
They'll be great.
one item that I'll repeat again, we had the tennis court bid that we got. We switched the focus updates out of the tennis courts to save money and track more bidders, which I spoke about at last meeting. So that additional market is $526,000 that coming forward as a PCL.
Any questions? The rest of anything?
Questions? If we have a shortfall in contingency for the school administration superintendent's office, is that just something that we would keep for the town that would come from the contingency?
There are 2 separate grants, so we're not, if there's leftover from the contingency for the high school, we're not able to apply it to the central office project, unfortunately.
one good thing about the central office, it's a very tight area. Everything part of the old high school is high school contingents. So anything outside of the, even the field house locker rooms, that's still part of this. So if anything occurs in there, comes out of that grant.
All right. We will go right on to voter traffic management report.
This month, we continued on reviewing the schedules, by ONG and, report on those. Continue doing punch listing, working with, TSKP on, punch listing area A right now. I'm through area, A1 and A2. Be finishing up, A2 and A3 on Friday. And then next week, rolling to, area B. And then, the week after that into C. As far as road management goes, that went, started on time on 6/12, and it is continuing, and it's supposed to wrap up today. With that, all the contents being moved into the storage areas within the existing building. The one item that did move over were the chemicals, so that was brought over into the building. And the new furniture is expected to be delivered the week of July 15th, and that'll run through August 9th. Everything's looking on target at this point.
Any questions for this? All right. We will go right on to communications subcommittee report. We did have a communications meeting just prior to this meeting. Our entire conversation is on the ribbon cutting, so we're doing a full plan around ribbon cutting. Lots of conversation around that. We're going to get into a lot of details now as we move forward, as well as efficient communication. You want to do a quick overview of the communication that we said, yeah, we've done, I think it's important.
So to get the word out about the ribbon cutting, which is on August 26th, we've sent a save the date postcard to every resident in town. That was a dual postcard that had the information about the ribbon cutting as well as information about the site being closed. We got a flyer in the Friday folders, the last Friday folder before the school year ended, so that was important. We sent blast emails to the Highlands neighborhood group that we have, as well as the larger group that receives our chair reports after every meeting. Our recreation department used their blast email group to send information out about that as well. Oh, and we have invited guests, which includes, I think you all received an email about a save the date for the ribbon cutting. So that's the building committee, town councils that have been since 2019, because it spans 4 different councils. 4 Board of Education spans since 2019. We also included the previous 2016 building committee, because they kind of laid the foundation with their work, as well as the ad hoc committees that were in between the old committee and the new committee. We reached out to our state legislative delegation, our federal legislative delegation, the governor and the lieutenant governor, the U.S. Secretary of Education, and the state commissioner of education. So over 100 invited guests have received the save the date.
So we're talking a lot about, trying to gauge attendance, yeah. So we got some plans in place to at least give a try to get maybe some upfront thinking of how many people are going to attend. Sure, not going to turn anybody away. But let's about to 45-minute presentation before we open the doors for a first school tour. In essence, the date everybody remembers is the day before school. This is 26th of August. So from a building committee perspective, if you cannot make it that day, please let me know. For some reason, if you're not in town or that doesn't, go to work schedule, because most likely we will be in the building for questions. We might, have people kind of throughout that first floor, just kind of as a resource and maybe assign some job guys along the way. So we just want to get an idea of who can be there if not. So if you could let me know that 26th date, if not, please, that would probably, the department. We'll see. that you are. So, make sure that's on the calendar, 5 o'clock start, but we probably want to do that earlier, but you'll get more details on that. So, yes.
When we did the ribbon cutting for the concession stand, we
Yes.
had beer.
Light refreshments will be served. I don't believe they will include that.
Takes a separate permit for that.
Yeah, I know, we got prepared ahead of.
Yeah, it was like 10 years, it was 2011, wasn't that far back.
Can we have the after party at your house?
Yeah. And when we were talking about meetings ago, you guys said that you were doing a ribbon cut, you weren't gonna go to school right away. So you're doing a limited tour of just the first floor.
Yeah, very controlled, that's why we have people stationed there to make sure that people can stay in the designated areas. Obviously, teachers will be potentially in the building, setting up for classrooms, so we want to make sure that, people will have the opportunity to look and see things, but not look into every area. Certainly all the common spaces, they'll have an see the gym and the cafeteria and all those things, get the general layout. We didn't look into the classroom for sure, we'll be able to do that, and then we've also talked about doing an additional, opportunity for a tour in October as well. That is not the plan, we don't date or anything yet about that, but if we, we want to put people in that can get it, look around.
So Tuesday is the first day. Are the other schools open? Tuesday? as well?
Yeah, it's pretty great. Monday, I did service.
Great, I like it.
Yeah, so thank you to Russ and his team, and they're willing to take it on, they're doing a lot of the type of students, we have some students there with music, and, it's gonna be kind of a take on what we did for the topping off, just a little bit bigger in scale. We're talking about students kind of driven and having a lot of student participation in this, so that we really show the impact to the community and to the district overall. So a lot of good things in play. Any questions on that, any thoughts? All right, great. So we'll, obviously, we have nothing to report out on professional partnership subcommittee. I'm not even sure if we need to, how do we dissolve that subcommittee?
We can have a motion on our next agenda.
Right, we won't need the professional partnerships. No, exactly. Financial subcommittee report, pretty standard, obviously, everything that you see in our motions, moving forward here as we get into new business, have been reviewed by the financial subcommittee. That's last Friday, so we spent a lot of time reviewing that information, walking through, each one of the invoices as well as PCOs, talking through any concerns, and Russ does the same thing as walking through all contingencies. So, there's anything on that meeting in addition to the report other than we're going to talk about and further agenda items. And then looks like we do have something to talk about the financial report.
Yep, so there's an updated financial report in front of you. The additional expenditures for this month, the legal notice for the Epic Technology rebid, as well as the postage and the printing for that save-the-date postcard that went out. So total on hand in this committee account is $46,750.
And that's what we're cutting.
Ribbon cutting is for that. I think we have one more newsletter we're hoping to send after.
And from a communications perspective, just to kind of touch back into that, one of the things that Beth had mentioned to us was kind of the view of kind of a finished site plan. And I think that's something we're going to work on. People are starting to really wonder, what is this all going to look like when it's all put together and, they're seeing stages happen. So I think that's something that we can start working with. People can see this is the new building. This is what 1928 is going to look like. Here's what the tennis courts are going to go. Because we've had multiple variations and versions of that over time. So we're close to that now, that we can start really representing that to people. And I think also we're getting some more interest because we can't go up there. Whether people want there or not, I don't think matters. We've said can't go there, so now people want to know what's there, what's not. So which is, human nature, I think. So I think we're seeing more of that happen. So So, for the website, correct, so we'll get something up on the website, we might need good research for those people out there if any questions. And community members just. All right, any questions for Catherine on that financial piece? All makes sense. All right. Let's go right on to new business item 1. So could I get a motion to approve the following invoice back for Farmington High School as presented? Second. All right, we will open this up to discussion.
All right, so just going through the invoices first, the first one up is TFKP Studios, invoice for professional services rendered. This is their standard amount for the construction administration at $42,000. Moving on to the next one, we have OMG's monthly application, so I will let Nelson do a little review of that.
So the final approved application is $5,055,530.79. It was reviewed by the professional partners prior to the sub-finance committee, and also reviewed at the sub-finance committee on Friday. Pencil copies were adjusted down by roughly $244,000.
Moving on, next is the invoice from IMCL. This is for our materials testing. This is reviewed by ONG to confirm that this work was complete, and they have recommended payment. Next is the IES invoice. This is for our commissioning agent, and like IMCL, ONG reviews this invoice for the professional services rendered, and they have approved for payment as well. The next invoice is for project manager, that's for Russ. This is in the amount of $6,183.86 for hours worked on the FHS project, and the timesheets are included as backup as well. The next invoice on the list is for Arcadis. This is for their professional services rendered. This is for the high school project management as well as the move management, which is, full steam ahead, as Chris mentioned in his report. So for this month, it is $20,247.50. The next invoice we have is, and you're going to start to see these a little bit more as things are getting delivered and technology things are being installed. The first one is for JT Homes. This is against the purchase order that they have. They are submitting their application for submittals that they have given to the architect, and that is $14,250. Next, we have Vintage King Audio. They have 3 invoices in here. This is for equipment that has already been delivered and verified by the AV department and technology department at the high school. So they have recommended these for payment. The first one is $2,555.84. The next is $23,488.74, and the third one is $17,368.88. And again, these are billed against the PO that we already have established. The next one here is for Meyer. This is for the company performing the actual move. This invoice is for $12,372.50, and this is really for the material delivery, the boxes and all the things that they put in there. If you walk through the high school, you're not allowed to go up there now, but if you did, you would see boxes everywhere. So it's actually, I think it was something like 4,000 boxes. Is that what you said were delivered?
Yes.
2,000 to 4,000 boxes.
It was 4,000 delivered, not all.
So a lot of things packed up. So that is Meyer's invoice, and again, they have a PO that we're billing against. Environmental Systems Company, this is for IT equipment for the high school. This is roughly half of their PO amount. It's in the amount of $225,000. And that's all we have for the invoice. Are there any questions before we move on to change orders? Change orders, the first one we have is PCL 124. You're welcome.
Just to put a little stuff on the theater. Was included in the bid, included in the scope for what contract would have, so they, told you carried it in their GMP contingency, so that's coming out of that. Amount of $62,478. PCO 115 is to change out the blue lights, strobe lights. They're off the building from a deeper bulb to a shallow bulb. And it ends up being, with that change out, a $75 credit toward contingency, bonus contingency. PCO 126 is a revised tennis court subbase for $125,855. As I mentioned earlier, before, this was what we pulled out to in order to the bid estimate under $1 million so that we could attract more bidders through the DAS process. And by doing so, we had to pull this out to pay for it for contingency, and it's for the amount of $125,855. And that's coming out of the CM general guaranteed maximum price card. DCO 127R, we relocated a memorial tree probably about 14 years ago. A couple of trees, both trees passed away. The tree was planted in honor of her memory, and this is to relocate, dig it up, relocate, repair, Russ talked with the parents, and they wanted the tree back in their yard. Everybody agreed that this was the right thing to do for the family. So this was the cost to do that. Basically, they spaded the tree out, relocated it, dug a hole at the parents' house, replanted the tree at their locations. That's coming out of our contingency. Scale 129, it's the main auxiliary wall pad. This is going on the movable wall, which is a credit with Matt Margarelli. It's not necessary, it's not required by for safety because of the distance between the end of the basketball court and the wall is located. So it ends up being a savings of $19,863 applied back to our contingency, owner's contingency. PCO 130 is a generator alternator change. The originally spec alternator would have been a delay to the generator coming on site. So this is an equal and better opportunity to do that, being a cost savings of $3,501 back to our owner's contingency. Fortunately, as Nelson referred, it would help speed up the process to get the generator, but the tank isn't available, so we're all set there. That's going to be out of our contingency. PCO 131 is a translucent film on the bottom of 6 doors. These 6 doors have a glass window in it. This is to keep it be a frosted window. So it's just a film that we put on, and that's the amount of $4,659 out of our contingency. And we have the technology change order number 2, similar to the change order number 1. This is coming out of our FF&E budget. The amount of $37,801.32. It's to upgrade the camera system that was originally spec. And as everyone knows, with technology, things change in days. So by the time it's brought through the process, better cameras were found. Some of the old cameras were not available. So this is the result of getting an upgrade to the number of cameras. They'll be better off, of course. Got to come out of the furniture picture we put in the budget. That's it for PCO. I'll actually say for the review, as Meg mentioned, financial subcommittee on Friday, right? That was Friday's meeting, and through the decision.
Russ, can you just do a little bit more explanation on what the wood steps needing, not just where it is in the building, in the, to the amphitheater, but like, to me, that term is this, it's those steps right in the main corner.
Main quarter going up the stairs.
Yeah, yeah. So if you remember, we'll give it to her.
And it's both floors, it's the bottom floor and the second floor.
I apologize.
No, that's okay. It's all right. It's just that we got a lot of seating areas, you know, and so is it the theater, is it the auditorium, is it the amphitheater, we got both. All right, any questions for us on any of that? No? All right, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. All right, we're move right on to D2. So can I have a motion to approve the following invoice package for central office as presented?
Second.
Discussion. So this is TSKT's invoice for the professional services rendered related to the central office project. This is going to be their monthly installment for this portion of the project in the amount of $5,600.
Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. G3, can I have a motion to approve the following fee proposals from TSK Studio for additional services as presented? Second, we will open this up for discussion.
I can go through them. So these are for design services. And we've been asked along the way to prepare this proposal to provide additional items for different products. In the first case, this is a change in the devices used to manipulate the gate that goes up to the upper fields. We were asked to consult with public safety and the school staff to provide a different type of operating system so that a patrol car can simply roll up to that gate and have it open. So that is a fee from our landscape architect and civil engineer to provide that service. The second one is for the civil engineer to look harder at the intersection of Monteith and Route 4 to look at pedestrian crossing and signalizations. This is to respond to comments from the state traffic office, who, while they supported the project and agreed that it didn't have a negative impact to Route 4, they asked for additional improvements. So civil engineer has been documenting that, and that will be executed by OMG as part of this project. The third one is a little more interesting insofar as the project team in general, since construction commenced, has performed very well. Working with Russ and his staff and public safety, those people on the ground have done such a good job keeping traffic off of Route 4 that we became concerned, or there became a general concern of what we were going to do this September when the new school was open and the existing building was still also on site because it wasn't fully demolished. So the landscape architect, SLR, our traffic engineer, civil engineer were asked to review during peak times how vehicular and bus traffic was performing on site currently, and then to project better how it would perform once this happened, the site was taken offline for demolition. So we were able to do that and review it with central office, public safety of the town, and reaffirm that we were going to be in good shape, not only for that transition period, but once the whole campus comes back online, that will perform as good, if not better, as we are currently doing the construction process. That may seem disproportionate for just recounting cars, but there was no shortcut that we could take on that process. We literally had to remobilize on the site and count every car. We just couldn't take that process word for it, I guess. Okay, last two are additional design requests from the town and from the central office. The first one is to provide a space and infrastructure for a greenhouse and an existing storage shed, which is over behind the auditorium right now on the new high school site. So we're going to locate these right outside of the wood shop and auto shop where there's already patio where students can work on projects. And we will create a building pad. We'll bring power and water to a new greenhouse, and we'll bring power to that existing storage shed, which will be picked up and relocated there. This service involves architecture, civil engineering for the site infrastructure, landscape architecture for drainage and planting controls, color running to make sure that we don't mess up power and plumbing these two objects. So we will put a formal drawing together, and then Matt will drive a pricing request to ONG, then bring that price to this committee to vote on that. And then the last one is to completely redo the grandstands at the stadium. And Russ, I think, has laid this out for a few meetings. This was contemplated, given how we were doing the contingencies and the fact that through this construction grant, this grandstand work will at a minimum be reimbursed at 15 cents on the dollar, which is pretty good. So here again, we're working with your civil engineer, your landscape architect, us, and then a structural engineer to work on the gang plank that has to go out to make the press box accessible, and coal aluminum brand for power and data. So this one's a rather intensive design process, but again, we need to get the documents together so that ONG can give you a good pricing to see that it's palatable. Any questions?
I have a question on the upper campus traffic.
Yeah.
So are we changing anything, or you think whatever is there suffices for?
We came up with a couple of strategies. Yes, we are changing it. Short answer. And that's really because during construction, which was also at the peak of COVID, right? We were able to create a very long car that actually went around the existing school. Anyone as a student.
No, I take it every
It's
day.
been a while. That's what one considering. We weren't doing better on contingency, we wouldn't get that a toll road. So what we were able to do was create alternate strategies that would allow you to supplement the, the 2021 design drop-off lanes that we had for the permanent. So we came up with different options that would allow, should vehicular demand require to drop off either between the gymnasium and the auditorium, or to extend that lane all the way to the north elevation, which is that far parking lot, in order to guarantee that the same linear queuing was provided. So we always knew we had those in our back pocket, but we were able to essentially show our work with this design effort that it would still track out.
So the senior parking goes away, the one outdoor senior parking?
I'm sorry.
So the senior parking that they have in the front of the building, that goes away, or?
Well, it's gone right now, they demolished that parking lot.
Yeah, but I mean, both students park between area or the old, the old 900 lane and the 1928. That is going to primarily be student parking. Yeah.
Are we keeping this lot there?
The library?
The library lot?
That will be pulled back. I would say 85% of that lot will be removed, and the F hill will be restored to a lawn again.
But not this.
A year.
Okay, so you're still gonna have that lot.
Correct.
Thank you.
Any other questions? These items, we give that for, oh yeah, go ahead.
So on the grandstands, thank you for Russ' question, but do we have any idea cost? Rough, I know we have to get the documents to get the,
Yeah, we're, I think
Better
I mentioned it before, we're somewhere in the 1.5 to 1.7 range. That's what our ballpark estimate is.
Okay.
I think it's still a very large number, but very doable given our
right, it's very needed.
percent reimbursement. But otherwise, you know, budget wise, $2 million project just decimates our capital program.
Yeah.
I don't know if you, but I know for the benefit of the town, the whole program, they said it right here.
Right.
So that's maybe strike while the audience. Get it in.
I think it's important that you would announce that we're increasing capacity,
What's that?
increasing capacity for our grandstands as well by 50%.
We're gonna basically double the size of the
Yeah.
home sign stand and eliminate the visitor side that you see there on the bottom.
Yeah.
Or the top, I'm sorry, the top side.
Yeah.
That's through it. That'll keep everybody, I talked with Matt Margarelli, we still keep, still have separation between away, home people. It's good, so. Get everybody to feel like it's a little different game whenever it's outside. And of course, you still have a hill with the kids and. Probably just running around the top in the dark. No, that's, it is interesting cutting through there, going down the game, so it sure is.
I honestly, that's the reason why my kids go to the.
Yeah.
Just to play.
And that the only ones.
All right, any other thoughts, questions on these items? Thoughts are really here more, I'm not here, but there's the next step of the process. Change this. All right, no questions, all in favor? Opposed? All right, motion passes. All right, we've got two more, G4, so could I get a motion to approve the inclusion of laboratory chemical capping, transportation and disposal of William B. Myers scope of services not to exceed $10,500 and authorize the decision-making group to execute on it.
So, second.
Open this up for discussion, but
So basically, we found, that Myers contract does not currently include the ability to move the laboratory chemicals from the old building to the new building. Due to the timing, and we want to get these things moved, and some have to still be refrigerated and all of those things. The fastest way to do that was to have an ad service to Myers contract. So this motion allows them to get a proposal. There would likely be a markup on that, as there typically is when they bring on a subcontractor. And then this would also allow the decision-making group, due to the timing, so that we can get it authorized and get it going, to kind of finalize that proposal and get it moving as it's under their threshold. So this would allow the things to be moved as efficiently as possible and add it to an existing contract that we already have.
any questions on that? All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. All right, anything else, Patty, for me, anything else set? All right. So could I get a motion to cancel the July 3rd, 2024 ethics meeting?
Second.
Any discussion? All right, all in favor?
Aye.
All right, so you can make sure that you don't have on order. Yeah. All right, any last comments, thoughts, questions before we adjourn? All right, I have a motion to adjourn, please. Motion.
Second.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
All right, we will adjourn to 5:47 this week.